All right, let's dive into something huge, Kenya's 2010 Constitution. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A constitution sounds kind of dry, right? But trust me, this isn't just some dusty legal document. It's a blueprint for the future. And that title, My Constitution, My Future, it's not just a nice phrase, it's a genuine promise.
So let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about this. What if the most powerful person in the whole country wasn't the president, wasn't some high-flying politician, but was actually you? I know, it sounds a little out there, almost like a fantasy, but believe it or not, that's the core idea, the very heart of the document we're talking about today.
You see, this whole thing was built from the ground up with one person in mind. You. The regular citizen, the mwananchi. It's all about putting you, yes, you, in the driver's seat when it comes to the decisions that shape your everyday life.
And look, this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good language. Not at all. Right from the very start, the Constitution pulls no punches. It says, and I quote, "It emphasizes on the sovereign power of the people, noting that all constitutional power derives from the people." I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence, it completely turns the old way of doing things upside down.
So what does that really mean in practice? Well, let's break it down. It all comes down to the single most important idea in this entire document. It's a complete game changer in how we think about government and citizens. The big idea is this: the people have the power. The fancy word for this is sovereignty. And all it really means is that all the power, every last bit of it, belongs to the people, to us. Now, you can use that power yourself, or you can choose representatives to use it on your behalf. But here's the kicker, and this is so important: the government doesn't own the power. They're just borrowing it from you.
And to make sure nobody messes with this setup, the Constitution is officially the supreme law of the land. What that means is nobody, and I mean nobody, is above it. Not a president, not a powerful CEO, not anyone. Every single person has to play by its rules. You can think of it as the ultimate rule book for the entire country.
Okay, so it's one thing to say that people have power, but how do you actually make that a reality? How do you guarantee it? Well, the Constitution is built on a couple of really strong pillars. Let's dig into the first one, which is basically the foundation of everything: your guaranteed rights.
The Bill of Rights is a massive part of this. It basically gives you two major categories of rights. On one side, you've got your civil and political rights. These are the basics, the right to vote, freedom of speech, that kind of thing. But then, on the other side, you have economic, social, and cultural rights. And these are just as important. They're about ensuring everyone has access to things like healthcare, education, and a safe place to live. The stuff you need to live a life with dignity.
And what's really amazing, what's a total game changer, is how specific the Bill of Rights is. It's not just a bunch of vague promises. No, it goes out of its way to create protections and open up doors for groups who've been left on the sidelines for way too long. We're talking about people with disabilities, young people, women, marginalized groups, and minorities. It makes sure they don't just get a mention, they get a guaranteed seat at the table where the big decisions are made.
All right, let's move on to the second pillar. Because having rights on paper is great, but it's not enough, is it? You have to actually change the whole system of government to make sure those rights are protected and that people's power is real. So let's take a look at how the entire structure of governance was shaken up.
I mean, you can get a sense of just how massive this change was by just looking at the table of contents. We're talking 18 different chapters that basically rewire the entire government from the inside out. You've got chapters on everything you can imagine: leadership and integrity, how public money is handled, the works. But maybe the biggest, most revolutionary idea of them all is tucked away in Chapter 11, Devolved Government. So this new system really rests on three core ideas. First up, you've got a strong system of checks and balances. This is to make sure that no one person or group gets too powerful. Next, the three branches of government. The judiciary, the executive, and the legislature, they are now genuinely separate. They keep an eye on each other. And finally, the big one, devolution. And listen, this wasn't just some small adjustment. This was a radical change that took power and money from the central government and spread it out to 47 brand new county governments. It literally brought power closer to the people, right to their local communities.
Okay, so all of this, the new rights, the new government structures, it all brings us to one final, really important question. What does this all mean for you personally? Let's talk about your role and your future.
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this: the Constitution gives the people power and responsibility. See, it's not some gift that you just sit back and enjoy.
It's more like a tool, and it only works if you use it. It demands that you be an active citizen, that you ask tough questions, hold your leaders accountable, and actually get involved in what's happening in your own community.
At the end of the day, this document doesn't belong to politicians or lawyers. It belongs to every single Kenyan. The system is in place. The power is back where it belongs, with the people. So I'll leave you with this question. This is your constitution. What are you going to do with it? What's your part in building Kenya's future?